Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast. I'm Noxie.
Kiko.
And Nickums.
And we're hitting you guys with like a part two for this conversation. The first round of the slept on manga like episode that we just dropped was kind of running a little bit long, so we decided to break it up into two parts. So we've never really done that before, but we definitely didn't want to have like a 3-hour long episode, so
which it might get to,
which it very easily could get to. So we just decided we're just gonna go ahead and break this up into two parts. So we're back to cover the rest of the manga that we wanted to bring to you guys.
Yeah, if you guys weren't aware, we're passionate about other manga that's not just Shonen Jump.
Yes, yeah. So we're very excited to like highlight some of these more obscure titles outside of that world like number one manga magazine. So. We're hitting you guys with part two. So where we left off in part one, I'm assuming you watched part one, otherwise why would you be here? But we left off on Witch Hat Atelier, and now we're going to go into our second round of picks, and I'm going to let Nickums take it away. Who we bringing up next?
Let's go.
So we're bringing up actually a Shonen Jump manga, but one that actually has been over for a little bit of time. It actually just finished, the fan translation has just finished, within the last few months or whatever. And the anime actually has just finished as well. But I'm going with Saiki Kusuo no Sainan. And this is a gag manga in Shonen Jump. If you look up Saiki Kusuo, I'm sure you actually have seen this character before, but he's got pink hair, green glasses, and these antennae, coming out or whatever. Now, even though this is a Jump manga, very, very, very few people I've talked to have ever read of it or even maybe have heard of it. One time I was in an anime con cosplaying Saiki Kusuo, and a dude literally came up to me and shook my hand for even repping Saiki Kusuo, you know what I mean? Like, this is a niche manga, even though it's like definitely been out or whatever.
Yeah.
Rep that shit.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And dude, so funny.
Yes,
and like this is one that I had. This is one this is one that I hadn't read yet when we came into this, and I have never really like, besides One Punch Man, which is obviously like a lot. And Saiki Kusuo I could tell is a lot more than just a gag, but like as something that's like a tried and true gag manga. I was like, I didn't know how much I needed comedy like this in my manga. Like I've never had comedy like this in my manga before, and I'm like, are there like? Can I get some more of this? Like, is there more of these? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But it seems so special.
The concept generally is the main character Saiki Kusuo is an esper, a psychic, and so he has all sorts of. This is again a gag manga. He has all sorts of abilities. He's super strong. He can teleport. He can telekinesis. He can read your mind. He has X-ray vision. He has clairvoyance. Like, pretty much any ability you can think of that could be associated with an esper, he's got all those abilities. And the story kind of begins with him saying like, oh yeah, like this boy he grew up with all these powers and he's super successful and all the girls love him and he's a millionaire. And it's like, is that what you fucking think? No, this power has made my life terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I can't have surprise parties. I can't work really hard at sports and be good at them.
Yeah.
I this has just made my life terrible.
I don't get like the satisfaction of knowing that I went to work and like had like a hard day
and
at
succeeded
work.
and like grew.
And then
And all he wants is to live a quiet, normal life. But he's in high school. He's a second year in high school. But all of these these classmates just gravitate toward him.
Yeah.
And he like hates it. You know what I mean? He's kind of like a tsundere type character. But this stuff is the funniest thing I have ever encountered in my life.
It's so funny.
You will be
yes.
So many things in this, and even just this first volume took me out my chair. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking first volume took me out every chapter. At least one like completely took me out where I felt like I needed an ambulance. Like that hard. Like there's a lot of funny moments within each chapter, but like I feel like there was one moment in each chapter where I was like, man, hey Elizabeth, I'm coming to see you. Like I'm out of here, bro. Like I'm out.
Yes, dude. And I mean, like, still, like, inside of, like, the non-spoiler, like, portion before we move into Volume 1 coverage is, like, one of the things that's really cool, even though, like, obviously we can talk about how funny it is and how gaggy it is, but the fact that it's about psionic abilities, the application of them, even though it's a joke,
makes so much sense.
It is so, like, it's some of the coolest application of psychic powers that I've seen, and I'm a huge X-Men fan. That's the biggest. That's one of the biggest things in X-Men, and I feel like there are a lot of things that I remember, you know, like that you've seen in X-Men, but there's still like things that you haven't. And it's crazy that like you have like a series like X-Men that like started in the 60s, and you have like decades upon decades of publication history that's kind of like centered around psionic abilities and like and psychics and whatnot. And to get like a psychic story, you know, that's what 300 chapters that is relatively new after all of this, you know, psychic, you know, fictional storytelling,
like have new abilities and stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was just crazy to see that, but loved it. Loved every moment.
Japanese unmatched, bro.
Bro, I swear to God, dude, the Eastern writers are just different, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Japanese, you know, Korean, Chinese, the whole shit.
Yeah,
definitely.
No, but like all of these side characters, and we won't get into spoilers yet, but like almost every single side character is super likable and hilarious in their own way. You get in these situations that are just.
I love Nendo.
Yes.
Nendo,
well, let's go into Volume 1.
Let's get into it. Okay.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
that's fine.
Like, I just love
no, that's not even a spoiler. That's just the name of the character.
Yeah, we're gonna get there quick.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, so this is your warning now. If you haven't read Saiki Kusuo, pause the episode, go read Volume 1. Come back.
This is an easy one though to watch, even if you haven't read.
It's a gag manga. Like it won't really kill you if you hear these spoilers, and so it's not a big deal. But if you do care, this is your one.
It's not a seinen manga, you know. Like
and I will be putting that timestamp down in the description for you for when we start our spoiler coverage. But let's get into Volume 1 of Saiki Kusuo. And you want to know what? I feel like I want to start here. With my thoughts on it.
Go ahead.
Because the coolest fucking thing is like right when Saiki Kusuo, or right when Kusuo was born, you know, he's 2 weeks old and he says his first words psychically.
Yeah, psychically.
Brilliant way to introduce, the perfect way to introduce this character. Like it's there's exposition, but while it's explaining things, it's still very show. Like I don't want to say it's show not tell because there's exposition, but it's very different than what I
good balance of both.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a good balance of both.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where most manga is so much more tell. You know, most manga.
Yeah. Or it's completely show and you don't know shit, and then you get exposition later. Exactly. It's a very perfect balance of exposition and visual storytelling at the same time. So.
An interesting thing about the telekinetic, you know, first words or whatever, you know, is that when Saiki is speaking in telekinetic speak, you know, directed to your mind, it's in a different type of speech bubble, right? It's in the square speech bubble. I don't know if you noticed this.
Yes, I definitely did.
He never says anything other than the square speech bubble in the entire series.
Yeah, it's always telekinetic.
He is always talking to everyone in their mind,
and everybody thinks he's verbally talking.
Yeah,
to them.
Everyone thinks they're verbally talking, and so
he's verbally talking, or telekinetically talking to everybody around him at the same time. Yes, bro, that killed me. I was on it.
Wait,
I was like,
what?
You can pick up on it, the fact that you only get.
He never moves his mouth. You never see his mouth open.
Yeah.
His mouth never opens.
Oh my God.
When I realized that, like what was the volume? 7, 6, 7 chapters?
It's like 8 chapters,
8. So it's probably about 4 or 5 when I realized that. I was like, wait, has this motherfucker never not spoke any word at all? And this has all been telekinetic this whole fucking time? Like, it took me 4 or 5 chapters, but I was like, that's exactly what happened. Every fucking speech bubble is in a square. It's not in a fucking circle.
Yeah,
bro.
And the gag manga aspect of this is like it's perfect for that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because like it's that subtle storytelling of through the page. You know what I mean? It's not like in the story. It's just like,
dude, that's amazing. So crazy.
It's amazing. Yes.
Because
it's so totally plausible that if you have a telekinetic person, that they're talking to everybody's mind, even though they're not talking, and you would think they're talking because of the way that they projected that to your brain. That's such a fucking awesome concept.
Dude,
I love it so much.
Dude, Saiki Kusuo, fuck yeah. Okay, so then also, the like going back into the applications of psionic abilities in this series, the photograph, the psychic photography
That's so tight. And then he's not good at it. Then he's not good. He's like, okay, I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
That implies that other people are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man.
Bro, I cannot wait to continue through this series because I've only read the first volume of this one. And
Me too.
And wow. So, like, okay, so like let's go through like super funny moments here. So first and foremost, Nendo, the whole thing, but I'm talking about like
we can jump around.
So like Nendo, right? So like Nendo, right? So like
Nendo, Saiki cannot hear Nendo's thoughts.
Yes.
He's the only person that he can't hear his thoughts. So Nendo can sneak up on him, and he doesn't know where Nendo is.
And the reason why is because he's just dumb and isn't thinking about shit.
He has no fucking thoughts in his mind.
It's very reminiscent of that fucking Futurama episode when the fucking brain balls attack and they make everyone stupid on the planet, but then Nibbler's like race like trusts Fry to save the day because he's already dumb and can't be like affected by the brain.
This is definitely at least the second or third time you've used that reference on our story, on our show.
Really?
Because because there's a lot of times where that really fits, where like, you know, you have somebody who's so dumb that when it's a story about how everybody's intellect is involved, and when you have a stupid person, they fly under the radar. So now they're almost OP because of how stupid they are. That's a great fucking concept. I just love it. I love it.
Yes, absolutely.
And like Nendo is like so pure. He's like someone like fakes an illness in this boring ass commencement speech or whatever, and like fakes an illness. He's like, oh my god, I'll save you. And he like kisses him, like gives him CPR. He's like wake up, punch him.
I loved it. And then it's so hilarious when I forget what his name is, like Takahashi or something like that.
Yeah, Takahashi,
The
Takahashi wakes up.
Or the dude
the
who's
kid,
beaten up with the afro.
Yeah, the kid
the afro
CPR.
with the big lips or whatever.
He wakes up, he's like, oh my god, everybody's gonna make all these rumors about boys love and like me and Nendo are a thing, and I'm clearly the bottom. Nendo's the top. Bro, I fucking fell out of my chair when he said Nendo's the top. I literally fucking spit out my drink like, oh my god, this is the greatest fucking gag manga I ever read. And
it is.
I mean,
but the best part of that fucking scene is like Takahashi's like yelling at Nendo like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And Nendo's like, well, hey, it was my first kiss, so cut me some slack, huh? And he's like,
he's throwing up in the fuck.
And then you get that thought that he has that Kusuo hears, where Takahashi is like, does that count as my first kiss too? He's like, if it was, then like, what does that mean?
Right. Oh my god,
man, that's hilarious.
And then oh my god, and then he's yelling at Kusuo.
Yeah.
And Kusuo's like,
don't tell anyone.
Yeah, your breath smelled so bad I didn't even like hear what you said. Like, my bad, bro. like you just threw up like in the sink.
But he's like, don't tell anyone I fucking faked this illness or whatever. Yeah. And then Saiki's like, wait, do you not want me to tell you that, or do you not want me to tell you that your first kiss was with Nendo? Like, you didn't really specify what you didn't want me to tell people.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh my god, bro. And then the dog arc. Oh my god.
He steals the dog from that guy to give to the girl. He's like, hey, fuck it. I mean, I'm just going to steal a random dog from a guy because I'm stupid and I'm just going to give this dog to the girl.
Nendo didn't hear any explanation about what the dog looked like or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
He just ran
off. They took the first dog he saw, even though it was on a leash and shit.
And then Kaido, okay, so like before we go into this dog arc, we have to talk about Kaido too, because
Kaido, I love Kaido.
I loved the this is a very smart person writing this. You know what I mean? Like, it really, like, when I was seeing this writing, like, I could tell that this dude's like been through some, like, he has a really good understanding of the world. Like, he's very down, like, I can tell he's just a cool ass dude that like, you know, knows a lot about a lot of things, you know what I mean? And
definitely
when he's writing about Kaido's you know, whatever that phenomenon is, where
Chunibyo.
Where you go into puberty and think,
grader syndrome.
you go into puberty and think you're the best thing since sliced bread, you know what I mean?
You just think you're like an anime, like,
yes. That was me, bro. Like, not to the level where I actually convinced myself I had superpowers, but I definitely I wasn't delusional, but I was like, this is so relatable. I love this person and this story. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, this mangaka gets people, you know what I mean? And just like that story arc with the snake and Kusuo like saving him and him being like, oh my, you know, and it goes into like his insecurity of like how like I'm putting on a bravado, but like deep down, you know, like I might be delusional and think that I'm the tightest, you know, person ever because I'm going through
just
puberty.
From insecurity,
but at the same time, like deep rooted, it's like I'm scared shitless because I know I'm not powerful. But I'm in this situation because I have to keep, you know, my front going. You know what I mean? And that was amazing. And then Kusuo saves him and he's like, I knew that I was the fucking best. You know what I mean? And it makes his delusional state more intense. Oh my God. So good.
Man, that resonates with me on so many levels. Just the fact, like, where I'm from and the way I grew up, like, if you did not think you were the greatest thing ever, you were gonna get eaten alive, right? You could get roasted on the school bus, you're getting roasted on the basketball court, you're getting roasted everywhere you go. The school bus is more ruthless than fucking any fucking seinen manga I ever read in my life. You know, like, I'm telling you, it's much more ruthless than Berserk. Like, I mean,
it's more ruthless than the fucking Chu and Yusuke, like, knife edge death match.
Yeah, like that ass, man.
That's literally like
you ride a fucking school bus in the hood. Your ass is verbally getting eaten out like anything worse than you ever. And that's the thing. That's why like that resonated so much with me. That this kid is having to, you know, delusionally warp his own mind into thinking that, you know. And this is the first time I heard about this syndrome, which probably takes place a lot in Japan, more than I obviously realized.
It's in a lot of stories.
Yeah, I guess I maybe never realized that this is like a thing, but I mean, in my world and where I come from, I have something very similar to where like I'm envisioning myself to be, we've talked about Martin Scorsese, like a Joe Pesci. It's like, you think I'm funny? You think I'm a clown to you? You know, like I have to like keep that persona when I act in anything, because if somebody, you know, does try to clown me, you need to take it with that seriousness, because that's your reputation on the line. Like, that really resonated with me. And I really love Kaido in a lot of ways, because I really felt bad for him crying in the bathroom when he was exposed, and then he after images basically or whatever to save the girl, which was like the key shonen moment in this whole volume 1, where I was like, okay, this is like an actual, like, you know, shonen trope. He fucking after images into the girl to save her when the murder bee dragon snake you know, goes and tries to bite her, you know. And I mean, I loved it so much. And actually, my favorite fucking moment in this whole volume 1 is that, you know, in Saiki's mind, Kosu's mind, he's like, this fucking snake is weak as fuck. And like, you see the fucking little fucking elementary kids bashing the fucking snake's death on the fucking sidewalk. And I'm just like, you know, normally that's not something that's funny to me. Obviously, I don't want you to hurt animals for no reason. But this is a fictional story, and it killed me. I was dead. I was like, oh my God, these little ass kids are just bashed, and that's why this fucking snake is weak. Like, that was so hilarious to me. Like, I fell out of my chair.
One thing about this story generally is that like this scene with Kaido and Saiki is a really good example of how like this is not just a gag manga. There actually is plot to it that I won't spoil at all, but that it does develop plot. But Saiki's character grows a lot. He progresses a lot over this manga, and so this is the first instance where he's like, he's cold. He doesn't give a shit about Kaido, but he's like, you know what, dude? Like, you just were super brave, and you like took a stand, and you put yourself out there, and I'm gonna help you out. Like,
he knows that to the utmost extent, because he can read your mind. He knows because in Kaido's mind he's like, I'm scared. I should never have done this. I fucked up. Why did I do this? And yet he stood his ground anyway. And that's very admirable. And obviously Saiki will know that more than anybody with the telekinetic abilities that he has. And that just says so much. Like, and for Saiki, like you were even explaining earlier, like this concept of being given something is also taking something away from you. I feel like I never thought of it in that way.
That was so good, bro. Like,
it was so good. It, like, that he loses his sense of accomplishment, his ability to be surprised, his sense of material worth. He doesn't even care about money. He's like, these are just Kleenexes that I could blow my nose with. Fuck money. Like, why do I care? You know, like.
And you get the analogy with like the spoiled kid. It's like, if you spoil your fucking kid, you take away his ability to be an independent person. You know, he gives examples outside of just himself with regular people. Beautiful. There's so much
these
more
Japanese
depth.
writers are out of control.
There's so much more depth than you think that you would see in a gag story, and even going into
this is just a you think this is just a gag manga, but it's not. There's so many fucking deep life lessons you can take from this shit.
Especially going into the relationship with his parents, right? Because his parents are introduced as this super cute couple. Obviously, as time goes on, no matter how madly in love you are, like you could just get sick of people.
Tension
builds, resentment builds for stupid reasons that we find out is because he fucking did like it was. I don't even remember what the reason was, but it was some dumbass reason they started hating each other.
This is part of the joke, so I'll tell this one or whatever. So the dad took. She took the dad's coffee jelly.
And
Saiki, this is a long-running gag. Like Saiki loves coffee jelly, but anyway, the dad, the mom took the dad's coffee jelly, and in response, he broke all the windows in the house. And started
the dad
this huge
is crazy.
feud.
So they're both tweaking,
and this huge feud, and then as Saiki fixes the feud by connecting them telepathically. So when he's hearing their thoughts, he's also projecting each other's thoughts onto them.
I don't mean that I actually love you. You know.
And so the dad and the mom are hearing each other's thoughts about how much they love each other, and he fixes the issue, whatever. And then I love this bit where they make up, and the mom is like, okay, well, here, and she takes Saiki's dessert from him. He's like in the middle of eating it, like here's the coffee jelly that I stole from you, and he's like. And Saiki was just before like oh my god, like I love coffee jelly. It's like so. What did he say? I have it written down. Like it's sinful enough to be a luxurious gem. And then later the dad is like oh thank you honey. Oh it's sinful enough to be a luxurious gem. Saying things. And then Saiki is so mad he breaks all the windows in the house.
Breaks all the windows in the house,
oh my
bro.
God.
Wow, dude.
It's like holy fucking shit. And the mom's Oni face when she turns up, bro. That was the first time I legitimately leapt out of my fucking chair in laughter, bro.
It's so good because the mom is clearly far more reasonable than the dad, right?
Yeah.
You take my coffee jelly, should I really break all the windows in the house? That's like literally the most illogical thing you could almost do other than murder people, right? Like it's so dumb. Like, you know, and the mom is very like relatable and kind of down to earth, but then she activates and you're like, oh shit, maybe not. Maybe I misjudged her.
Activation face ever. Ever, bro. Like in a joking, like, you know, like there's been some pretty crazy malice faces that we've read about, but like just seeing that, I was like, bro.
The other thing resonates with me is that Saiki took all the kids' fucking toys, gambling, janking, and fucking.
Yes,
bro. That had me dead because I'm like, bro. That's how hood school is.
He's like, and if they're on some funny shit, I'm cheating with them. He's like, if they're on some funny shit, I'm cheating with them and forcing a draw.
Forcing a draw. Exactly right. The gun. He's like, no, we'll square off. We're gonna draw together. That shit was so good, man. This is a great, incredible manga.
There's a couple more I want to talk about because like they're just so funny. I like these first chapters are just so great. But let me just say that all the chapters are super funny. Like
not
it just keeps getting
in the whole series.
Not a bad chapter. It's either they're mostly like really funny chapters. There's a few gems in there where it's like kind of like more emotional and like character building chapters. I felt
so bad for Takahama. That's her name, the girl that like loves him, and he's like trying to dodge her. That little story arc.
Chio,
I was like, no, just love her back, bro.
She's very cute and very hilarious, and she's.
But he can't love anybody. That's part of his telekinesis, curse, right? Like I can never love anybody. That's in that chapter. Man. That's so sad, actually.
In that chapter, like the lovey-dovey shit.
Doesn't he feel like Saitama?
He is very much like Saitama.
This is One Punch Man before One Punch Man, but just the kinetic version.
It's like if Mob. It's like if Mob had the same.
Personality is Saitama.
Yes, exactly right. This is one's two stories combined.
Legitimately.
Before,
before one, definitely.
So like in that lovey-dovey episode, and everyone's like, oh, Teruhashi being this like super pretty girl, you know, that everyone like, you know, likes.
Oh my god, I loved this.
And he's like, yeah, you know, like everyone's just like talking to Teruhashi and asking her questions, and all I see because I have X-ray vision.
I gotta poop.
He sees through your skin, so he doesn't see a cute girl. He sees a meat body, like the body's exhibit.
The only thing I can compliment is that she seems like she has some pretty healthy innards. That's all I can
say. And everyone's hearing her say like, well, I don't think it's time to date yet, and all he hears is, if you don't make more than 40 million yen a year, like I don't give a shit about you.
It's like, how can I love this person? And you got a shit?
Right.
You just told me you got a shit,
I was just saying, at the same time, he's here, I think it's the same girl where she's just like, man, I really got to poop. And he's like, I don't want to hear that shit.
Right. Or how about that fucking dodgeball scene? That dodgeball
Dude, the
scene.
dodgeball, dude.
There's so many good moments about the dodgeball. But Hyro coughing up blood when he skinned his knee on the ground and his pants kept falling down. We're like, we know that ass when we see it. That's clearly Hyro on the ground, like, because his pants can't stay up. Every time he's diving to save a ball, his pants fall down.
And he's like sweating profusely after one throw.
Yes.
It's like, no, you shouldn't.
Saiki's like, you shouldn't be. Yeah, no, you shouldn't be sweating that much, bro. What the hell's wrong with you?
Right. So one more thing I want to say about that's kind of just a cool fact, right?
Yeah.
So there are tons and tons of puns in the story.
Yeah.
And luckily, like the translators, and you can look this up on the wiki too, but luckily the translators of the fan translations are very good.
Yeah.
And so let me give you a few examples, right? So like Kaido, right?
Yeah.
His name is Shun Kaido, like first name Kaido, last name Shun or whatever. Now Shun Kaido is a pun off of the Japanese word for teleportation, Shun Kaido.
Oh.
Shun Kaido means teleportation.
Yeah, maybe because Shundo is, a flash step.
Yeah, inside of
exactly.
Yeah.
And then Nendo Riki, his name in kanji, the same kanji, the reading can be also read as telekinesis. And then Hyro, his last name is Kineshi, sorry. So Hyrokineshi sounds like pyrokinesis, like pyrokinesis. All like lots of the characters' names are.
And he's fiery, definitely.
Right, and then Saiki, right? Saiki Kusuo, Saiki-ku.
Yeah.
You
know? And you can see a lot of the puns
like
in the titles of the chapters too.
Yes.
Yeah, like you see a lot of puns in the titles of the chapters too. Fuck yeah, what a brilliant series.
I always loved too the chapters like this chapter's model is Saiki Kusuo, age 16.
Age 16.
It's like, it's like, okay, you told us that every chapter, but hey, I mean, that's fine. You can keep telling us. That's fine. I love it. Great, good stuff.
What a brilliant.
That's all
story,
I got, man.
But
the dodgeball shit is like the finality of the volume, and it works really well. A good like two chapter.
It's 2 chapter,
it's a 2 chapter continuous, and even though, I mean, in manga, obviously, all the chapters are continuous, but this one in particular was
this, like little
more
mini
so,
arc.
Yeah, more so a little mini arc with
breaks the fourth wall and a couple.
There's a lot of very meta moments in this shit that are like so.
Definitely,
they're playing dodgeball. We can finish this in 1 page.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can finish this in 1 page. Exactly. Yeah, it's perfect.
Love that shit. Fuck yeah, dude. Saiki Kusuo. Hell yeah. Fucking pick that shit up right away.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So getting into my second pick, we're getting into some Hitman shit, some more Yakuza shit coming from me. So like I did My Home Hero in the first part, and now we're looking at a story called The Fable. This shit is amazing, and it's written by Minami Katsuhisa, and also drawn by Minami Katsuhisa as well. And it's also coming out of Young Magazine, another one coming out of Kodansha, same magazine as My Home Hero. This is why we need Kodansha apps, because this lineup, although it's very different, it's supposed to be very different from Weekly Shonen Jump, but the quality I feel like is just as high in like the overall roster, you know what I mean, in its own way, and I just need more people to know about these stories. But The Fable is about a legendary hitman that goes by the name of The Fable, and this man caught so many bodies that the Yakuza clan head said, you need to go lay low for a year, so that these bodies do not get, tied back to our organization. So I'm going to give you some money. I'm going to give you things. Go to a completely different part of the country and just chill. You know what I mean? And so that this doesn't, fuck up our outfit. But there's a caveat
just for a second. I want to interject because when you were selling this manga to me as a recommendation, you're like, bro, this is a Ghostface rhyme from Wu-Tang. And like, when you said that to me, at first I'm like, hell no, like nothing's Ghostface, right? Like Wu-Tang's the greatest of all time. Yeah. And then when I read it, I'm like, bro,
did I kill it?
bro. If Fable doesn't have 360 waves out here, I don't know what's going on, because this is fucking Ghostface in manga form.
Yes,
right here.
It is.
It killed me, bro. Like it was a perfect fucking
analogy.
It hit me hard. Yeah.
And I knew it would, dude. I knew it would. You know what I mean? Super happy that I stuck the landing there, because I was really proud of that analogy. But I was like, I feel like Wu-Tang would rap about this motherfucker if they read this shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. We would get Fable bars if Wu-Tang knew what this was. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Fable bars, that just sounds right.
Yeah, but yeah, okay, so he caught the bodies, he goes to go lay low. The caveat there, though, is that the clan head says, you cannot kill anyone in this year, and if you do, I'm sending motherfuckers after you. So you're dead. Just be chill. Him and his getaway driver go off into like Osaka. I think they started off in Kyoto and then they go to Osaka. I don't remember exactly where they started.
I think that's
Osaka
right.
Is where they go.
Yeah, Osaka's definitely where they go.
To Osaka.
Yeah, and then it's crazy because obviously this man has only known one thing his entire life, and that's killing people. So naturally, that situation finds him, no matter where he goes and no matter what he tries to do. So this is another series that feels like a Scorsese flick. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know, and I just can't say enough good things about it. It's a very strong first volume. Sato, the main character, aka the Fable, is such a likable character, even though as someone who is just like a machine, you know what I mean? Yes. And you like, if someone were to come to you and say, this is a story about a genius hitman, you would kind of like have that initial thought of what that kind of person would be like. But he's very immature. He's very childish.
Yeah, he's not robotic.
Yeah,
that's
he's
what
not robotic.
Like, he was very robotic and calculated. And that's what's crazy, that it makes him such a grounded character that you can relate to him, even though normal people shouldn't be able to relate to a contract killer. You know, like
right.
We still do. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's very good. It shows the first volume shows just enough of what this story is going to be, while still making you go, I still need more. It's another one of those stories that'll have you going one more chapter until you go to work the next day. You know what I mean? So
I thought it has a very good mix of like action and humor. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Like I can definitely imagine myself just like sitting down in a nice comfy chair with a beer and just like paging through this thing. I'm gonna love keeping reading this thing.
I cannot wait.
Well, and even to go a step farther, I can sit down with a comfy beer and kick it with Fable as long as I don't know he's a murderer, like a contract killer. Like, hey, me and Fable, I feel like me and Fable would vibe good.
Dude, he's cool as shit, bro.
He could murder me in 3 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into the volume 1 review.
Yeah.
So this is your warning.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna put the timestamp down in the description. If you have not read the Fable volume 1, pause this, go read it. Come back, and we're about to get into it. Let's go. Okay, so who wants to give their thoughts on the volume first? I feel like Kiko.
I mean,
I've been waiting to hear you talk about this.
I know you have. And just the fact that it works because what I just said kind of segues into the fact that, okay, he's a relatable character, even though regular people should not be able to really relate to a contract killer. But the things that make him relatable is that, like, he loves that idiot comedian, the Jackal, right? He clowns Ebihara, the fucking like second in command of the fucking mob, about his nose hairs repeatedly.
Coming out.
He just does so many things. Yeah, he just,
like a shitty attitude.
Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, and like him, the thing, I don't know why this resonated with me so much, but him just butt ass sitting in the chair cleaning his Nighthawk, bro. I was like, hell yeah, fuck that. That's his Nighthawk is. And
he said it's his partner.
That killed me too. Yeah. It's his partner, exactly right. And like he had to get rid of all his fucking weapons and all this shit. He had to like fucking totally disassociate himself with anything that tied him to his previous,
but he said, fuck
life. That. but then Yuko, I mean, presumably that's her made up name. You know, his getaway driver. Yeah. You know, Yuko Sato is his sister in the story because it's a fake life. But like, she's like, you're not supposed to do that. He's like, no, fuck that. This is my Nighthawk. You don't understand. This is my brother here. Yeah. I do dirt with the Nighthawk, and that's how I get down. And right there, to me, I was like, buddy, even though he doesn't have like loyalty to a human being, loyalty in general is a huge thing to me. Yeah. And just the fact that he's loyalty, you know, is to an inanimate object, even though to him, that's his partner. That's his boy. His Nighthawk. Right. He does his dirt with his Nighthawk. That hit me so hard. I just relate with this character so much.
And this so hard, bro.
And who doesn't wish they could be a genius that like because he is a genius in his own way.
Oh yeah.
In any altercation, he's assessing weight, height, stance, martial arts level. He's gonna know what you can do before you even do it.
The shit you have on you that you can't see.
Yeah,
how the fuck do you do that?
He's like, hey, he's like, second in command, pull that gun out. You know, like, hey, first of all, I'm not gonna, you know, like even.
Yeah, because he's like, how would you kill me right? He was like, how would you kill me right now?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I'll take your gun from you. Obviously, you got a gun on you. I'm gonna take that shit from you and shoot you with it. You know, like.
Yeah, and he's like,
he didn't.
It was in his like, and then
he knew from some subtlety about how his body was.
Yeah, and he was like, how did you know that? He was like, how would you know that? And he was like, you wouldn't get it.
I can't explain that.
Yeah, you wouldn't get it. And then his boss was like, dude. You're not supposed to fucking bring. You're not. No, his boss was like, you're not supposed to bring fucking guns in here. And then he was like, all right, well, there's 5 bullets in this gun. We got 10 guys outside. How are you gonna deal with 10 guys with 5 bullets? He's like, I'm gonna take your gun.
Oh, you got me. I got a gun too.
And the boss is like so stoked. He's like,
this is the coolest fucking dude in the world. Yeah.
I fucking love this guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dude, yeah. That's so amazing,
bro.
I want to go back to it's amazing. Bro. I want to go back to chapter 1 because this is an amazing first chapter. In the first couple of pages, it's very like there have been stories that I've read where the first couple pages have really got me, but just that opening like dialogue from the narrator or maybe it's Sato's mind where he's saying there's geniuses in every field, athleticism, music, art, everything, and he's cleaning his Nighthawk. He's cleaning the Nighthawk. Like while this opening dialogue is going, he's like, even in assassination there are geniuses, and I'm that guy. And then it goes into that first assassination that you see of him, and it feels like I'm reading a psycho killer horror movie. Like he feels like Michael Myers the way he's like just walking like through and systematically killing everyone.
That's crazy that you felt that way because with this manga I felt like I was reading a 90s Rhapsody. You know, like I gotta clean my gun. I'm gonna jump behind this tree. I'm gonna try to shoot my gun jam type shit. You know, like I can't have my gun jam.
Shit,
yeah, exactly.
New York State of Mind.
New York State of Mind. Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I mean, it's this shit, man. It's went hard as fuck.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna hit super hard.
There were so many things that hit me in this, and this is a really minor part of this first volume. Yeah. But just the fact that we focused on vehicles, like that 1970 GTR that was in fucking it was in Ebihar's garage, or the garage that they gave to Sato, aka Fable. You know, and he's like, what the fuck? So like, why is this car so special? Little does he know that's the first GTR ever. That fucking thing should be cherished. It should be put on the fucking pedestal of high heavens. Like that's a beautiful
I knew you were gonna fuck with that so hard too,
beautiful,
bro.
Yo, hey, if I had a fucking R34 GTR, I'd shit myself. That's my favorite vehicle ever. And it wasn't allowed in America due to emissions. So that's just a side issue. Yeah. But Nissan is my shit. Yeah. And I love Rice Rockets in general.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, so Buddy, we don't get his name, sitting off peeling his chilies in the whole time in the fucking Mitsubishi K car watching fucking Yuko get naked. Like that Mitsubishi K car, I'm like, hey, that's a Japan only little type smart car that they have in fucking metropolises where you want to get 70 miles to the gallon. Yeah. And I love that kind of, like cars are my thing, obviously. Like
clearly.
That detail, that level of detail.
Yeah.
That level of detail.
You can tell this dude is a car dude too, though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That 1970 GTR hit me so hard. I'm like, bro, if I had a fucking 98 R34 fucking GTR, that I would be living the dream. And those are only right-hand drive because those are Japanese only. So I'd be driving on the right-hand side of my vehicle because we have bad emissions, so those are legal in America. Yeah. Those are right-hand drive only, and I have seen them in America. And
dude, fuck yeah. Man, another really cool thing about fucking Sato though is that he keeps that fucking middle finger knife. On it, that ring knife. Bro. When I saw that in that first scene, bro, I was like, that is such a good hitman weapon.
Yes.
And not only the fact that he cuts the throat with it, it's the fact that it's on the middle finger and not the index finger, because it shows him with that knife on while he's busting the Nighthawk.
Yeah.
The Nighthawk, and he can still hold his weapon properly.
Yeah.
Bro.
It's perfect. Yep. It's so perfect. It's the perfect hitman story.
Bro.
Yep.
Hats off to it.
Hats the fuck off.
I love that it like
he's so confident when he's told by his boss, right? Like, you have to not kill anyone for a year. And he's like, oh yeah, for sure. I'm a pro. Like, I can do that easy. Yeah. And then like he's actually out in the world, and like he's at the bus stop or whatever, like the rest area, and like these dudes like come and fuck with him, and he just kicks the shit out of him. Yeah. And then he's like to Yuko or whatever, like, this might be harder than I thought.
yeah.
Because like, he's sitting there.
People testing me.
That's an amazing
scene. Me out in the world.
Yeah, that's an amazing scene because he's sitting there and he's like, these guys are gonna go rob these cars. Let's see how they do. And he's like, you can't smell the money. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm a pro.
What's wrong with you?
He's like, I'm a pro. So like, I know which car you need to go into. Yeah, he's like, I know what car you need to go into. Do you guys know what car you need to go into? And they go up to one car. He's like, nope, that's not it. He's like, if you guys just fucking use your nose, you can see there's 50 million in this car right here. And they fail. And he's like laughing at them basically from afar. And they're like, this motherfucker's looking at us. And they run up on him.
This is the first manga that has surpassed Tokyo Revengers as like resonating with me on how the hood works, right? Like shit, you don't smell the money. Like that shit hit me in ways I don't know if I can explain. Like, you don't smell the money. That's the life I live. Like, you gotta smell the money, bro.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
That's where I'm from.
I was like, when I'm reading this for the first time, I'm like, I need my, and I was like, Kiko's not gonna read this right away. I like just knew it. I knew it. I was like, he needs.
I feel so bad because all your recommendations are so good, but there's only so much time.
There's only so much time, and I understand it. I'm not saying when I'm saying I need Kiko to read this, and I know he's not going to. It's not because I'm like, because that motherfucker don't listen to me. It's because I'm like, he's just not going to find the perfect stars aligned time where it makes sense. You know what I mean?
But here we are.
But here we are right now with this topic, and that's why this is my favorite topic.
Yeah, it's crazy because you guys are obviously like, you guys are what's missing in my heart, because you guys have both recommended me manga that have touched me in ways I can't explain. And like, I'm so glad that I have you in my lives, because like, you guys both have done things for me that are inexplainable, that are just really explainable just in the just in manga recommendation only. And that's not even talking about what you do for me in real life, because right. You guys are my real friends. But like, man,
look at us. Hey, look at us.
I love you both.
Who'd have thought it? Not me.
I love Eagle too. Shout out to Eagle who ain't here.
Yeah, shout out to Eagle who ain't here.
But like, I love y'all, man.
This is that Paul Rudd meme though. Like, look at us, bro. You know, when he's eating when he's eating the Hot Ones challenge, he's like, who'd have thought it? Not me.
Who'd have thought? Not me.
That's totally that meme. But a couple other things.
I'll do one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yuko, the getaway driver, you know, his partner.
Yeah, she's so cool, dude.
What I really like about her, and like, you don't get much, like, I only read the first volume.
Yeah.
You don't get a ton of her development.
But you get enough.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like there's a lot of hints that she's actually really, really skillful. You do hear definitively that she can, like, she has photographic memory of maps.
Yeah.
Like, she can memorize maps really easily.
Yeah.
That's a very good skill.
Yeah.
And like, she like is like, you know, persuading people, like you said, Kiko, like she's
says the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
She's the Nami.
I'm like, yeah. And so I'm like, I feel like she's gonna be a bigger player later in the story, like, sure. and seeing her skills, and I'm really excited for that.
You want to know what it's very reminiscent of? You want to know what their relationship is very reminiscent of later? One like minor spoily thing that I'll say: Chun Woo-han and Shiho from The Breaker.
Oh, word!
It's that dynamic. It's that dynamic inside of the Fable.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Hope it doesn't end the same, but yeah.
But yeah, man.
I don't know yet, but I will know soon enough.
So that scene where the second in command clan head, and they're in the garage with the GTR, and he's like, I need to see your fucking skills here, so shoot anything I say in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, I love that scene.
And he's like, shoot the security camera. But he
shoot the heavy camera.
But he fucks up at first. He's like, here's the gun. And he like grabs it and he like whips it around and drops it. He's like, I'm not that good with revolvers. You know what I mean?
Misdirect.
Yes.
And the guy's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and then so he drops the gun. He dropped the gun for the misdirection, and then he shoots the security camera, and it's not the one that he wanted him to shoot. It's the one that he thought he wouldn't notice.
In plain sight. The plain sight one.
Yeah.
He shot the secret security camera.
He shot the secret security camera, and then cut off his vision to him fucking with the car.
Right.
Because then right after that, he gets in the car like, this fucking car isn't all that tight.
You fucking just, and he's just like, you just shot this fucking thing and blasted fucking glass all over this fucking 70 GTR,
everything
bro.
he does
is
on purpose.
Classic, bro.
Everything he does is on purpose.
Hell yeah.
And it's perfect. Yeah.
It reminds me of when they first move into this apartment that the mob has given them, you know?
Yeah.
Immediately, he goes into his room. There's like 2 rooms, like 2 floors, right? So he immediately goes into his room and finds every single camera, every single wiretap.
6 or 7, 8 cameras.
And destroys all of them.
Yeah.
And he knows, he goes into Yuko's room and like, he knows where they are. He sees them, but he doesn't do anything about them because he like doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of like a shitty personality a little bit.
He
don't see me, I don't care.
Yeah.
So he kind of leaves them there, and like I was like, oh, that's a really interesting part of his character.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. 100%.
That kind of reminds me of, so there's a translator note, since we've already talked about My Home Hero, where the husband and wife, Tetsuo and Kasen, they're talking in front of the wiretap purposely, scripted.
Yeah.
You know, they do that purposefully, and that, I mean, it just really resonates to me with what Fable's doing here, is that I'm leaving these here, you know, purposefully, and I'm gonna use them to my advantage.
Right.
And the translator note on My Home Hero that I read, just what I read, is like, you fucked up taking away that wiretap. Yagami, which I assume is light Yagami, would have left that there and used it for his own advantage. And that's exactly what Fable is doing here. And it's crazy because when I was giving these recommendations, I read My Home Hero first, and then I read Fable second.
Same.
And then I was like,
me too.
Yes, exactly. So I was like, fuck, bro, this connects so well. I'm like, damn, like,
because the Japanese just understand the Yakuza better than we ever fucking can. You know what I mean?
Of course.
That's like, imagine that history section in their schools. Just we get civil rights, just like we get, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever.
Prohibition, mobsters, and stuff.
They get the fucking Yakuza, like, you know what I'm saying? So like, we're seeing that in their writing, how much more they know about how these organizations work, and it's so fucking cool to see that in these stories.
Hell yeah.
Yes, definitely. Ooh.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited. I'm excited for more.
Dude, I can't wait for it, bro.
All fire recommendations. Fire recommendations here. Read all these stories as fast as you can.
100%.
Read them all. Kiko, read them a second time.
Let's go into exactly. Let's go into your last recommendation though, and then we can kind of wrap it up. I know that this is like a part 2, and the time doesn't really matter, but I think this one's going like close to an hour and a half.
Yeah, we should get her done.
Yeah,
we should get her done for sure.
Yeah. So, Kiko, what do you got last tonight for us before we round this off?
All right, so I got a shonen story, which we've been covering like mostly seinen tonight, and which that makes sense because we normally cover shonen on our normal podcast, but this shonen is kind of a breath of fresh air. It is Kemono Jihen is what we're covering here, and it's by Imoto Sho, who was an assistant to Amano Akira, who is the mangaka of Katekyo Hitman Reborn. So that's the thing she's most famous for.
Going into this. That's
me either.
Yeah. Female mangaka, assistant to another female mangaka, which is great. Like you really, I really feel it in the story. You know, like
wait, this is a female mangaka on Kemono Jihen?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Imoto Sho, definitely. And so is Amano Akira, who wrote Katekyo Hitman Reborn. And so Kemono Jihen is a monthly shonen manga. It's out of Jump Square, and it's more mature than most shonens out there. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking like Hunter levels of maturity, but completely different thematically. Like, it's 100% a completely different story, but there is a lot of, mature concepts and themes here.
Content warnings and stuff like that.
Content warnings, exactly right. Yep. So Kemono Jihen means demon incident. So naturally the story is going to be about demons. There's a lot of different types of kimono, like tanuki, kitsune, etc. And there's definitely contention between them. The story takes place in modern day Tokyo, and these demons are fully integrated with human life by having a human form that they hold. They got a human form and a kimono form, of course.
Right.
And so just think about politicians and public figures that are secretly demons with hidden agendas that are working towards their own goals, but they've totally, pulled the wool over the eyes of the humans to, like they're just regular humans. And that's a really great concept with this story, because the story focuses on a detective who investigates the supernatural. He investigates all this type of shit, and he finds a boy with supernatural abilities. But normally, you would think the name of the story leads that this boy that he's found is a Kemono. You'd really think so, but you'd really be surprised to find out the truth.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a lot of mystery surrounding him. So
definitely,
that's the non-spoiler synopsis here, and we're gonna get into volume 1.
Yeah.
I'll
before we go
put a
into
little bit more
ahead.
on the synopsis or whatever. Just one thing to note: the art is super crisp.
Yeah, dude.
Like it is. I wouldn't say it's like, you know, Witch Hat Atelier level art.
No, there's some shading
really
missing.
Crisp.
There's a little bit of shading missing.
Yeah.
But yes, the line work is so cool.
And like I feel like there's not a lot of mangaka that like really knock it out of the park with like perfect line work like all that often. Like Ken Akamatsu comes to mind. Inside of you know Negima and especially inside of UQ Holder. UQ Holder, there's not a single broken line. I feel like in the entire fucking series, bro. Everything is perfectly measured and like you know what I mean. Like it just comes together perfectly. Definitely. But Kemono Jihen is another one that knocks it out of the park there, and I really love the art there and the art style in that regard. Really cool fucking concept for a fucking series, you know what I mean? And like you don't really see it like from like this like the text like summary like synopsis like before you start reading it.
Not at all.
But like as you go through the first volume, you're like, this is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's different and it's and different and cool and still like, you know, inside of that shonen mold is very important.
It's definitely a shonen manga for sure. Like it has the shonen like style of storytelling. But I think in my opinion, one of the ways it really shines is the characters. Every single character is maybe not likable, but they're all really unique, and most of them are very fleshed out, and most of them are very likable, and like especially the main squad, like you love all of them in different ways, and they all grow very well.
Yes.
Even the one out of this crew you didn't think you would like, you do like. He grows on you, you know, like
love that.
I mean. Yeah, Imoto really definitely makes these characters grow on you. And I mean, when you have a monthly manga that has like 50 pages per chapter or something like that, I think the first fucking chapter is like 75 pages.
Right. First volume is 3 chapters.
Yeah, three chapters. Yeah. Like to me personally, I like that better. Sure, I want something every week because I'm impatient, but like when you get a whole monthly dump, man, like it's a lot more rewarding, and I feel like I get immersed a little quicker. So like this first chapter, when it was initially recommended to me by Nickums, that first chapter, it's like 75 pages, like just one chapter. It's all I needed. I was like, sold. This shit is fire, and that's huge to me, definitely.
I definitely like want to stress that like this is a shonen, and we've all read tons and tons of shonen, but like this is a fresh concept. It is a fresh, you know, take. The characters are great. The main character is a sweet boy. I mean, he is. I love the main character. And it's just really fun. You just gotta read it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's all I had about the non-spoilers.
Well, let's go into volume 1 then. Okay, so here's your warning. Like I've said for all of the books that we've been talking about tonight, I will be putting a timestamp in the description for you to skip spoilers. So if you want to stop it here, go read it, come back. We will be getting into a volume 1 review.
This is a good one to stop and go read.
Yeah, all of them.
Well, I would say Saiki Kusuo, that's not a big deal if you
Saiki Kusuo is probably the one
probably the one, you know, this is
this one like
those,
there's a lot of like cool twists in the first chapter that you really got to read at least the first chapter, I would say.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is a big amount of pages, 70-something pages.
Yeah, for sure. So here's your final warning. We're going into volume 1 review of Kemono Jihen right now. Who wants to take it away?
I mean, it's mine, I guess. So, first and foremost, volume 1 cover, like that cover art, bro, that's just fire as fuck. That is heat. That fucking Kabane in the skull SUC, the SUC fucking outfit. That's how I felt, you know, from the Breaker, where they're wearing the fucking skull
that's right.
joint.
They all had that's so right.
Kabane, when I first fucking saw Inugame. Inugame is the
he's a Tanuki type.
Inagumi.
The Tanuki. Inugami.
Oh, Inugami.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
because he's got the dog tail.
The dog.
Also, it's a tanuki tail. It's a raccoon tail.
Oh, it's a raccoon tail. Oh, raccoon.
Yeah,
he's a tanuki
yeah.
dog. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a tanuki.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
and he gives the clothes of one of his subordinates, whatever you call it, Shiki. Yes, to Kabane. And
it's the skull. It's the skull shit. Like the bones. Like I was like, oh, it's so perfect.
And it doesn't fit. You couldn't find a better outfit that fits the character because Kabane is a hybrid.
Yeah.
Half ghoul, Kemono, half human. And being that he's a ghoul, he's the only like undead class or Kemono type that we've heard of being current. And I'll say 4 or 5 volumes in that we've heard of. I don't think we've heard of another undead Kemono type other than a ghoul, which Kabane is, which is awesome that he gets this outfit that really fits his aesthetic. Like I loved it so much.
It's like nice aesthetic storytelling, like a kind of like a little, I don't know, it's almost breaking the fourth wall in like a subtle degree. It isn't, but like it's kind of like cute, like how perfect it is, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And it's Inugami's like first big dialogue assessing Kabane is he could be a huge threat, or he could be the star of hope for Kemono. We'll see. And I'm obviously betting on Star of Hope. Which obviously that sets up such a good story. You know, like you automatic for a shonen story, I guess I won't say everybody, but for me personally, that's a good starting point. Like, could he be bad? Could he be good? Obviously, we know he's going to be good because it's a shonen. But the fact that there is some indecision there is gonna lead to good plot points and storytelling from there on. Which
absolutely.
So yeah.
Inugami, like he's got that like really great, like Kakashi or even like Spike from Cowboy Bebop kind of personality, where he's kind of like
he feels like Gojo a lot too.
Laid back, chill. You know, he's like super powerful. But like he's also hiding it. He doesn't want to show it.
But he does have that moment when the bugs are attacking the family where he's like, okay, so my ability is Colossus from X-Men, but like it takes me a really long time to do it.
But that's not his only ability, though.
Well, I was gonna say that's not his ability.
I'm just saying inside of Volume 1.
That's so great that you even mentioned that because it's like a One Piece or a Hunter. That's like a Tekai or like a base level of Nen. I'm pretty sure all Kemono can turn their skin into steel.
Oh, shit.
I'm
not sure, confident. But you definitely
I'm not sure of that either, but that the way that Inugami, the dialogue that he has here, it's like, okay, I'm going to do something that I need to do that's like I'm not proficient at, but it feels like anybody of my stature should be able to do. You know, like that's how I took that.
It leaves open the possibility that anyone could do it. Yeah, so it's like subtly building the magic system that like you don't know if it's his ability or if it's like a general Kemono ability, but like I like that it like builds the magic system in that way. Like the scene to take it back a little bit, like the scene where Kabane first like shows his form, you know, like he has this necklace and the life, calculi, like that's like this thing around his neck, this amulet. That'll be a big player later in the story, obviously. But when he takes that off and he like starts reverting to like a kind of a ghoul form, whatever, it's like super sick, tight, like art and stuff, and really great scene. Just super cool. Like I'm just like I'm totally for it.
Sold, yeah, definitely. And the dialogue too that Inugami has with Kabane, where he's like, your Kemono calculus, which is like the overarching, for all
category of
other
things,
other calculi. He has the life calculi, keeps Kabane's thirst in check. He would be eating humans if he didn't have this, but this keeps him grounded and into like a human type form where he could just like eat regular human food and sustain himself, or maybe not even, because he really isn't shown eating human food other than the pizza with Shiki, where he was like, I never had pizza before, like what the fuck's pizza, you know? And Shiki's like, you've never lived if you ain't fucking eat pizza, bro.
He's like, good form. When he finally is taking the bite. And
he spills it on his shirt. He's like, ha, novice. I love that.
And I think his ability is cool, the Arachne, right? Inside of the spider thread. Like that's
spider
really
type,
cool. That's a really cool application of a power set like that. I like those threads. And so I had a question because you guys are farther in this than me.
Yeah, we're both current, definitely.
Right. So like the one that looks like a girl that says I'm a boy, is that actually a boy or is that a girl that identifies
it's actually
as a boy?
Oh,
okay.
It's actually a boy. Akira is a boy.
Okay.
He says he's a boy. But
he says he's a boy.
Yes, but I totally agree with you.
Sure.
It is meant to be ambiguous and it's meant to be confusing. But
he could definitely be.
Well,
he could definitely be just identifying.
That would be really cool because I feel like we don't get that representation enough in in shonen storytelling. So
I love Kabane and Akira's dialogue with each other because Akira's like, okay, you had all this assessment about Shiki, but what do you think about me? And Kabane's like, I just thought you were a pretty ass girl, and he's like, I'm not a like just girl. Runs off and storms off into his room. Like I love that. Like there's so many good relationships in this. Like you don't get to like fully see it in volume 1, but like these relationships fully grow and you grow with them, and it's beautiful. Like these. Shiki and Kabane maybe is probably the primary one, but like I mean all of the relationships in this story are extremely fleshed out and
I can
very
tell
relatable.
that it gets super deep, and I'm not very far. I only read this first volume, but I can tell these fights are about to go crazy with this fucking power system.
Crazy.
I'm so fucking ready for that, and I can just tell, and I can tell that like there's a lot of
hell yeah,
and I'm excited that it's a female author. Because like I just need more stories where female characters are written well, you know what I mean, and I feel like it's just so often, especially inside of shonen storytelling where 90% of the authors are male, that and I've talked about it on the show before, it's like they treat women like almost as if they're a completely different species, and they don't think or reason the same way that men do, and unless it's a Jujutsu Kaisen or a Hunter x Hunter, you know what I mean, like
and maybe it's Japanese culture to blame, and the Japanese are slowly like mentally evolving into this form, but I think there's this juxtaposition here where it's a female writer who's writing male characters so well because there really isn't very many female characters in this story, but once you get them, you really know that a female is writing, a woman is writing the story.
And doing what needs to be done.
I hate saying the word female. I almost feel like it's derogatory. I don't know why, but
No, you're good. Yeah.
No, I know, but like, she's writing men so well. She's like writing male characters so well, and that once you get to the women characters, like you're like, okay, now I'm reminded why there's actually this is a woman writing this, because you might lose sight of that at first, in the first couple of, but once Inari's introduced, Kone's introduced,
I
need
for
more.
Inari.
Kone's my favorite. Kone's my favorite.
But like when they introduce Inari, and it's like, no, the Inari. It's like, oh my god.
She is
I love that.
Kitsune.
I need more Meimeis. I need more Meimeis. I need more Marioleonas. I need more obviously significant badass female characters that don't rely on male characters for any reason at all and are highly renowned in the world that they come from. I just need that dynamic more inside of shonen storytelling, and I'm so happy with the direction that shonen is going nowadays. And we were talking about in the evolution of shonen storytelling episode that we have, this is a very exciting thing that mangaka are starting to do better now. Even male ones, you know what I mean? And I'm super excited for this story because, like, some of my favorite shit inside of fucking shonen right now is the badass female characters.
Absolutely.
Mirko, Mei, Marioleona, give me all of that.
And obviously it's shonen for a reason, but when you read so much shonen, like obviously the male MC, and obviously it's still a male MC, but it just becomes tired, right? Like you really need more depth, and there's no reason why the depth can't be given through female characters. Like there's just no reason why it can't be. And even though it's this shonen, genre, which is written for 14-year-old boys or whatever, that has that really, obviously you want them to be able to relate to it, but that doesn't mean you can't appreciate like the other gender,
absolutely.
And I really love the fact that this is a female mangaka who also studied under another female manga.
I feel like we don't hear about that too often.
Who both wrote shonen stories, who
Yep.
are male protagonist characters that are centrally focused on the male characters.
Yeah.
And they wrote them so well that you wouldn't even know that they're female. But then, once you get into the female characters, you can see that nuance and depth there.
Yeah.
You're like, man, there's another level to this shit.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I can't wait
that
to read
hits,
more of this.
That hits in a
How many
different
chapters
way,
are there? This is like, what, 50, 45, 50?
Yeah, but they're all like 50,
too. Oh, no, this is monthly.
chapters.
Yeah,
this is
it's monthly though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But there's like 40 chapters, but they're like 50-page chapters.
Fuck yeah,
you know?
dude.
They're not small.
Yeah, it's like
chapters,
41.
I'm super hype on Kemono Jihen, bro. I'm
Yeah.
super excited about this. And
Definitely.
You guys, and I've been hearing it on Twitter too. You know what I mean? Like everyone's been gassing this up, and I'm like,
I remember you.
When you told
hey.
me My Home Hero, I told you Kemono Jihen. So there we go. We traded.
Well, and I remember too. You were like, "Hey, Kiko, you reading Kemono Jihen?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Hey, there's this fucking lit group chat about Kemono Jihen that you need to get involved in." I jumped in there right away, and even though I'm not super active in group chats, it's like I still keep an eye on them, and it's like the conversation there is so high level and so in depth, and I'm like, man,
yeah, dude,
this is some good shit. Like, just even the fact that I might not be super like involved or super active because I mean we're doing this and whatever shit we got in our lives, you know, it's still good to go like read all these guys' opinions, you know, these people's opinions on these matters, and like, man,
there's some depth there.
It's the Kemono Office fucking group chat. Shout out to the Kemono Office.
Yeah, Kemono
I love
Office.
y'all. I love
Let's
y'all.
Go. I'll be in there soon. Trust me. Once I catch up on this, I'm gonna need an invite.
Hell
Lob me in.
I'll lob y'all in. Definitely.
Hell yeah.
One more thing about the story generally, like Kabane, the main character, the half ghoul hybrid, you know, boy or whatever.
Yeah.
Very sweet boy. Super great character.
Love his story.
His fights, they are gonna get so sick. Now, based on
raw,
super, they're gonna be fucking awesome.
Okay.
Now, no spoilers past Volume 1. What do we know from Volume 1? So you saw him when he had his leg caught by Shiki's spider thread, and he ripped the skin right off, and there's like fire appeared in his leg healed. Or when he was in the bath and he was completely like he cut his own arm off, threw it in the furnace, and used the heat of the furnace to melt the fire and get out.
Bro.
Or when Inugami first was meeting Kabane. And they kind of like had this little, game going where like, I'm going to kill you, quote unquote, and we'll show your dead body to these, adoptive parents you have. So then they think you're dead, so you can come with me.
Yeah. When he heals, the forehead
he shoots him in the head. He kills him.
Yeah.
Kabane cannot die, and Kabane cannot feel pain.
And he has no blood.
Yeah.
And he has no blood. These facts are gonna blow up in fights. It is going to be bananas in fights.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought up like the fight portion of it, because I want to kind of bring up more like maybe the psyche portion of it, because maybe it's what do we get, 4 or 5 chapters maybe you said 3 chapters even, maybe
3 chapters first volume,
that 3 chapter for that third chapter of the first volume where Inugami's kind of doing an assessment of Kabane, and he's like, ghouls feel no pain, they have no blood, they really don't feel any kind of physical detriment to them whatsoever, and Kabane personally, his foster mother, killed the emotions of like fear and hate with him. So like he's incredibly strong, he is his like highest level of strength, but at the same time Kabane's psyche is so underdeveloped that he's weak at the same time. He's susceptible to it's crazy that you have this level, like Kabane could be top tier and he could be bottom tier at the same time.
I don't know
he's fearless, but he's also like super gullible, naive.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever read a story with that dynamic in it where it was like on both ends. It's like he's on the entire spectrum. Ends. It's exactly. It's extreme on both the spectrum, both sides of the spectrum, and that really like hit me. I'm like, damn, this is new shit. This is fresh to me. Like I don't feel like I've read something like this,
I'm so ready.
Definitely.
Man, I'm so ready to get caught up in all of these other ones that you guys are giving me, because I'm not caught up, not even close on Kingdom, but I finished that first arc. Wow. And Kemono Jihen, I could tell from volume 1, especially now I was talking to you guys about it. Yeah, I think I might go back to that first.
Especially since it's shonen.
Yeah, I might go back to that first.
Especially since it's a shonen, this is really the only like firm shonen we're covering. Like Saiki, Kusuo is a shonen, but it's a gag manga. This is the only shonen that we've talked about.
Right.
All the other things we talked about is seinen.
Yeah.
And we love to get in our seinen bag because we don't cover it on our main show. We love seinen just as much as we love his shonen. But at the end of the day, this is a shonen, that's our base. Like that's our anchor. That's where we all started. And like when you hit us with a shonen that's like fresh and new, like fucking Kemono Jihen, like
lovely.
That definitely hits hard.
Lovely.
And
absolutely.
I'm man. When Nick was recommended this to me, it's like I binged it in like 2 days. I read the whole shit.
Hell yeah.
Like, yep. This is that. This is that deal. This is some new shonen shit for me. And I think
I'll knock out Kemono Jihen first.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably make my way back through
long.
Kingdom. Yeah.
Yep.
Kingdom is.
I can't wait for you to. Woo!
Yeah, so much, but like I kind of want to read My Home Hero first of the things.
Yeah, that's only 39 chapters. You'll
so I definitely want to ask the channel here, the YouTube. Tell us what you're feeling. Like of these six manga we've recommended to you, what are you feeling most? Like what do you tell us in the comments?
Yes.
What are you going to read first?
For current fans of any of these, for current fans of any of these stories, let us know how you felt about our review of its first volume.
Yeah,
is there anything we missed?
And please avoid spoilers.
Yeah, please avoid spoilers. Make it a very obvious, spoiler alert. You know what I mean? But let us know how we did, because this is kind of an experimental. Obviously this is very different than a tie-in episode that we've had before, even though it makes so much sense for a channel like this. But this is kind of like an experimental topic that like we were considering putting inside of our Patreon moving forward, kind of like a book club style, like grab a story, don't tell you a whole lot about it, but still get in our bag about what we do cover, see if that sparks your interest to either pick the story up or give you some new opinions about a story that you already love. We're just trying to expand some of these lesser known stories' sphere of influence any way that we can, using this platform that we're still not extremely established on, but we're making our way. You know what I'm saying? So let us know. Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. Absolutely. But this has been an incredible discussion as long as it was. I could do this for an entire day with you guys. And
we could do this to 5 in the morning.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, easy.
Exactly. And now next time we'll have Eagle. Next time we'll have Eagle, and that'll just round the conversation off, that much better. But
take it to that next level.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But that is going to do it for this episode of Tangential Tie-Ins. Thanks so much for watching. If you did, smash the like button if you enjoyed the episode. Smash the subscribe button if you're new here, and hit the bell icon next to subscribe, and we'll chirp y'all when the next episode is live. Also, down in the description, that's where you're going to see our link tree. That's going to be where you see us on all of the other online, communities that we have, social media platforms, ways to consume the podcast on the audio-only platforms like Spotify and Apple. Also, stay tuned. AnitubeCon 2020 is about to be crazy. Coronavirus is keeping us at the crib, so we're having an anime convention from the crib. You know what I'm saying? Yes. To raise money for COVID charities.
Hell yeah.
We're collaborating with a lot of really cool, some really big names to give you guys a really cool experience that we feel like the anime world hasn't necessarily seen yet, at least not on these mediums. And we're really excited to bring that for you. I will have the Twitter and other ways that you can keep up with information on that convention down in the description for you as well. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up tonight. I am your host, Noxie.
I'm Kiko.
And Nickums.
Catch y'all next time.